Aloha, welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I'm so happy to be with you again today as we consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. If you're tuning in today, you're in for part 3 of my fascinating conversation with Deb Dana. If you missed the earlier episodes with Deb, I highly recommend listening to them before diving into this episode because they are packed with incredible insights. Yeah, I want to dive right into it. You are the boss here.
Oh,
so
boy.
I'm going to let you take the reins and take us through, how to use the journal, how to do the Glimmer practice. It's awesome. I can't wait to hear more.
Well, let's do the Glimmer practice, and then we can talk about how that fits with a journal. So
perfect.
Very simple 3 steps to start with. See, stop, appreciate. So the first thing is in the see, how does your body let you know you've just had a glimmer moment, or your brain let you know, or a feeling state let you know? What happens so that you know, ooh, that's a glimmer? And a glimmer is something as simple as a bird singing, or a cloud that looks beautiful. Or have you had a glimmer today?
Oh, I have. I had one today because I got to see a gorgeous rainbow. But I live here, and you never tire of them. They never stop being a glimmer.
I love
to just turn around and just see that beautiful, full, a rainbow glimmer for me this morning.
So how do you know? Does your body send you a message? Do you have a thought? Do you just look and go, oh, what happens?
I get a visceral. It's a thought body feeling for me. Probably starts in my gut. I would feel it like in my gut, and it kind of radiates up from there. It's just like this, and sometimes I'm even vocal about them. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So that's the see, and then the stop is, stop and take it in. Right? Just for a moment, and don't just pass right by. Glimmers are all around us, but we don't notice them because we're not looking for them. So you stopped, even though rainbows happen apparently a lot where you live. You never get tired of them. You stop and appreciate it. You let it fill you. You let the sight, the sound, the story come to life for just a few seconds. That's all that's needed. And then you can get on with your day. That's the joy of glimmers, that they weave into your day so easily, right? So everybody listening can think, did they bump into a glimmer today? And if so, how did they know? It could be a thought, could be a body sensation. And when they reflect on it now, can they stop and just let it fill them for 5 seconds or so? That's all it takes. So that's the see, stop, appreciate, right? And then, what I discovered was it's helpful to mark those moments, have a way to remember them. So that's what led to the journal, right? The journal was my way of saying, oh, here, let's write them down. But other clients I had would take pictures, would draw. There are lots of ways to do the remember, and then share, right? Share's the next step, because again, remember, we long to be in connection. So how do I share? And so I invite people to find a glimmer buddy.
Oh, that's an awesome idea.
Create a glimmer group, right? There are all sorts of ways because when you talked about your rainbow and you shared that, I could feel it come alive in my system. So your glimmer landed for me as a glimmer. That's not always true. I mean, I might have a glimmer that might not affect you at all, or might dysregulate you, and that's fine too. Right. But oftentimes, a glimmer will land for the other person too. And so you might say, I'm going to share my glimmer. It was this beautiful rainbow I never get tired of. And then you could say, how did that land for you? And I might,
I love that.
Oh, that landed or I might say, not so much. And either one's fine.
Right. Exactly. Because we're so easy to share our challenges and difficulties and the horror of the day, right?
Yes.
And so we're talking about that, reinforcing that, sharing it with other people's nervous systems. What a beautiful idea to do the other side of the coin and share the beauty of life in those little sparkly moments.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So then, I was trying to figure out, how do I help people sort of organize their glimmers? Because we humans love organization, right?
Yeah.
We love to figure out where things fit. So I created categories. So they're glimmer categories in journal. Nature's the first one, because nature is such an amazing part of our world, isn't it? And
Yes.
even if you don't live in a place where you can go outside and see nature, you can have images of nature. We see it on TV. There's lots of ways. And then I went from nature to people and pets.
Oh, yeah.
People are, but pets, right? We've got both. And then art and science, right? Because both of those bring us these tiny moments of goodness. I know when I conquer a technological something, when something goes right,
Yes.
I can feel it go, oh my gosh, that was amazing, right?
Yeah.
I pushed the button and something worked. Amazing, right?
Yeah.
So then we go where you went first, the embodied glimmers, right? And again, as we go through the categories, you may be drawn to one and think, oh, that one's hard for me. Embodied glimmers are harder for me. And I have a harder time connecting to my visceral experience.
Okay.
And yet, I like the category and I like playing with it. So, and then we go with flavors of glimmers. So those are the 5 categories, because there are lots of different flavors of glimmers. In the beginning, I thought they were just happy moments, but my clients taught me, no, they were ease, they were play, they were passion, they were magic. So there are all sorts of flavors of glimmers. And then there are 3 categories after that are more general glimmer environments. Where is a place where you predictably find glimmers? Mine's at the beach. I know where yours is, but I'm a water person. So take me to the water, I'll find a glimmer, right?
Yes.
Sharing glimmers, a process for creating community around sharing glimmers. And then the last one is called glimmering. How do you become a glimmering presence in the world? Because again,
love that.
we can bring this out into the world. So those are the categories, and the way you can use the Glimmer Journal is you might say, I'm going to work on this category for a week. Or you might at the end of the day do a reflection and think, I found one in this category, write them down. There's no right or wrong way to use the journal, which again respects the nervous system. There's no right or wrong way. There's just the way your nervous system says yes to today. Right.
Exactly. No judgment. Yes.
Right.
And the journal itself, like I said earlier, how beautiful it is a glimmer in and of itself.
I agree.
The beautiful ribbon coming for the bookmark. It was just like, you'd want to, you didn't have a glimmer yet, just pick up the book.
Exactly. Yes. And then each category has subcategories, has prompts, that help you move. It gives you suggestions of how to move into the category in different ways. And then there are blank pages for you to, record your own glimmers. And I think one of the delightful things is that people often will they'll email me a glimmer, and on the website, we're beginning to start a global glimmer collage where people can send in. Because they're just so delightful. They're so delightful to hear, and knowing that someone has had these few seconds of feeling okay. Is quite heartwarming, right?
Oh, it's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
And to know people are focusing on that. Yeah. Spending a moment, not so much focusing on it, but noticing, and the more you do something like that, the more it's like I tell people with gratitude, well, I'm just trying to teach you so your brain will just start noticing that or looking for that versus looking for trouble.
Exactly. I love that. Yeah. And when you know the signs that a glimmer has appeared in your life, then as you go through your day, you might feel one of those signs. You might stop and say, must be a glimmer. Where is it? So it works in both directions, which I love. And then the final invitation is in the book in the beginning, and then again later, is to write a glimmer intention. Right? So that, how do I want to, connect with this glimmer practice? What's my intention? And I love intentions when we bring the nervous system into to write them, not just the brain,
Okay.
because the brain will often write an intention that's very focused and has an agenda, has a goal, has a demand and an expectation. The nervous system does not respond well to that. So if you write an intention, I'm going to find 4 glimmers a day, nervous system's probably going to go, right?
Yeah.
But you might write an intention that has an inviting, welcoming wording, like I'm going to look for the glimmers that are all around me.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very different feeling. And so the practice is, how do I write an intention that feels within reach, that has enough energy behind it so that it catches my interest, but doesn't overwhelm me.
Right. It's not a to-do list. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can so easily go to do, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's somebody, I learned this glimmer practice and I know it's going to help me. So I've got to do it. I've got to do it perfectly. And I need to do a lot of it. You go, oh, okay, we've missed something here. Let's back it up.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
This isn't a book you need to start at the beginning and work through each page as a workbook. Not at all.
Not at all. No.
Yeah.
It's a way of sort of partnering with your nervous system and saying, what do I want to focus on today?
Yeah.
I was doing an earlier talk and one of my dear friends had been to the house and I gave him a Glimmer Journal because I know he would appreciate it, and he's been struggling, and he took it home and he said, I have to tell you, I took it home and I just opened it randomly.
Yeah.
Opened to the page talking about your soul home. And he said it was just what I needed. And isn't that the way, right?
It's beautiful.
Like, there it is. So
yes.
I believe those things happen, So
yeah.
So there's a prompt in there about finding your soul home, which is also a glimmer, a place where when you're there, you just know, here's where I belong, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you hear people say that all the time. And so to know that that's real, like, we kind of let these things slide by us sometimes. And this glimmer practice can really help us because we can see, stop, and appreciate. Like, it's okay to give yourself permission to do that. And
I think with my clients, it was helpful for them to understand that you're actually creating the capacity to move differently through the world. This is not just a thing, that somebody says it's good to do. It's changing the way your biology works. So with clients, with people who really suffer with anxiety, it's not going to make you not anxious, but it's going to build your capacity to be less anxious, less often, less intensely.
Yes.
Right. And that's really what we're looking for. Right. Anxiety is a adaptive survival response. It's just when we get in it can't get out. And when it happens, when it's in this moment not needed,
right,
then it's problematic. And glimmers can help you build that anchoring in enough regulation so that you have a chance to be discerning, to think about, be curious, and to move out of. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's so important, again, that the nervous system needs to be in that place to make that discernment and doing things like having a glimmer practice that you don't do when you're anxious, just like we talk a lot about meditation, all kinds of different meditation practice, but you don't do it when you're having a panic attack. It's something that we do to build our resilience in life, and glimmers to build and feed your nervous system so that you can partner so well with it. Oh my goodness, I love befriending. My nervous system just feels like, where have you been?
I know. I love that. And I love the thought about, befriending, because, you and I have just met and I feel a desire to get to know, right? So if we were going to create a friendship, we would spend time with that. We would get to know each other. Same with the nervous system. Maybe I just got introduced to the fact that I have a nervous system and now I need to get to know it.
Yes.
Right? It's a lifelong tending that we do when we create and build a friendship, right?
Yes.
Same is true with our nervous system. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's so beautiful. I can't even imagine that we hadn't had this before.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a unique way of looking at tending to ourselves, self-care or but tending to our very basic, how can we get more basic than the nervous system?
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what I really love is that you have interpreted Stephen Porges's work so to the point, because I remember listening to him, because this is my world for a very long time.
Yeah.
I'm always researching and trying to learn and love it. Like, you kind of get it. Like, again, in my body could get it. But, could I have explained it to anybody? Could I? No, not even close. And your work, I found, has really done that.
Thank you.
And now I feel like the Glimmers Journal has brought it into even a larger audience. Are you finding that, Deb?
Yes.
Is it
Yeah.
reaching more people?
Yeah. And I'm so delighted that, I've got my grown children, their friends, talk about it. It's sort of spread out into, everywhere
TikTok.
Around the world. TikTok that goes everywhere. So, and I think it's a concept that people, it's joyful. Right.
Yeah.
It's a concept that people can reach for, can be successful with, can feel the impact of, and that makes them want to share it with others. I think the invitation to find a Glimmer buddy is lovely because people like that.
I love that. We have a group coaching that we meet on Facebook, and people have questions, or they ask the group, or they ask me. I think it's a perfect place for us to maybe weekly have a spot where we talk about our glimmers, or where we all put them out together just to share them. So you'll be a part of us, Deb. You'll be joining in the group with us.
Thank you.
Yes. So I love this. I love your book. Like I said, I've admired you from afar. And I want to ask you if there's anything else you think that my listeners or myself could learn before we start to close up.
It's interesting because I think we can try to change our nervous system without understanding why it's doing what it's doing. And glimmers are a way to bring more capacity for being with, right? So that maybe I suffer with anxiety and I want that gone, right?
Yeah.
The first question is, what is the nervous system trying to tell me? Yes. Right? Because it's trying to communicate something to us, with whether it's anxiety, anger, or collapse. It's trying to tell us something is not right. And if we can listen to that, then we can, ask the next question, well, what does the nervous system need to feel a little bit safer, to feel a little more welcome in the world?
Yes.
And then, glimmers are one of the ways that we build the capacity to be able to ask those questions, to be able to turn toward, because glimmers help us feel more of that regulated energy, that place of safety, so we can then look at everything that's going on. So for me, it's in that way, it's a win-win. And it's also a win-win because I feel healthier. I feel physically healthier. I feel psychologically more regulated, more balanced. And I then communicate that out into the world without even trying. I communicate that into the world. And so I think of that. Let's imagine the ripples, right? The stone in the water and the ripples. Let's imagine a huge ripple effect around the world, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like phenomenal. And it is from something that everybody can do. Everybody can do this.
Yes.
Yeah. We don't need to be trained. We don't need to be, take a special course. And Deb, you're such a great gift to the world. I really mean that, because I love when these kind of things happen. Like I said, I've known who you were for a long time. And so to have you come across in my email was just exciting for me. I was like, oh yeah.
Well, this has been a true joy, Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Why don't you tell people, in your words, where the best place to find you and what other things you offer, what you're doing, and I'll put the links in the show notes for them.
Oh, good. Yeah. So my website, rhythmofregulation.com, is the best place to come. And we try to keep putting new things up. And we've got some autonomic meditations. We've got, a lot of podcasts, a lot of videos, a lot of things. Hopefully you'll send us a link. We'll put this one up,
Perfect.
So people can sort of sample what there is to offer. So yeah.
Very good. Well, we will send people there because I know you're really going to resonate with people that listen to the show. And I so appreciate you taking time with us, Deb.
Thank you.
Happy Aloha Friday.
Yes. Love it.
Thank you, Deb. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.